We start off with a little action, a duel between the servants of the two enemy families of Verona, the Montagues and the Capulets. After the swords are settled, Verona's prince shows up to say that the next person who fights is going to get killed, and he means it this time. Along comes Romeo Montague, mooning over some chick named Rose. Meanwhile, Juliet Capulet, aged 13, has just heard that Verona's most eligible bachelor, Paris, has his eye on her. They are going to check each other out that night at the masquerade ball at the Capulet's house. At least, it's a parental sanctioned child abuse. Romeo and his friends have decided to crash the Capulet's feast in costume, because Rose is on the guest list. Things take a turn when Romeo meets Juliet. They fall instantly in love, obviously, but then they find out that they are from rival families. It's all very dying, but being two crazy kids in love. They have a secret meeting and decided to get married.
Vegas road trip!
Woo! Ah, wait, no Vegas. Instead, Romeo meets with the Friar Lawrence to arrange the marriage, and Julia gets her nurse to be a go-between. The nurse meets Romeo and his friend Mercutio, and they arrange to get Juliet to Friar Lawrence. Get ready for some names. Benvolio, other members of Montague Posse, runs into Tybalt Capulet, who is angry about the Montagues crashing his family party the other night. Romeo, freshly married, strolls into the middle of a tense situation, which gets way too tense when Tybalt kills Mercutio, and Romeo promptly kills Tybalt in return. Romeo jets, but the prince still shows up to banish him. Juliet hears from the nurse that her new husband has murdered her cousin, which is a buzzkill, but not enough of a bummer to keep her from being super stoked about her wedding night. The nurse finds Romeo hiding at the Friar Lawrence, and the friar hatches a plan. Romeo can spend his wedding night with Juliet, but then...
Meanwhile, back at the Capulet's house, Lord Capulet decides a wedding to Paris. It's just a thing to distract Juliet from her grief. After Juliet's awesome romantic wedding night, she finds out that she's supposed to marry Paris in 2 days. Even her nurse thinks he should marry Paris, since Romeo is as good as dead to her. Juliet runs over to Friar Lawrence, which she has a weird kiss with Paris, and then threatens to kill herself. The friar comes up with a plan that's 100% granted to work, and doesn't sound risky at all. Giving her a poison that will make her appear to be dead for 24 hours. Yes, exactly 24. So she runs home, agrees to marry Paris, and takes the poison so she can be taken to the Capulet tomb, where Romeo can find her and everyone can live happily ever after. Sadly, the news of Juliet's death comes to Romeo before the words of the friar's plan. He buys some poison, so he can go to Juliet's grave and kill himself, which is obviously the mature response. But first, he murders Paris and then spends some time with Juliet's dead body. He drinks the poison and dies just in time for Juliet to wake up and find him dead. The friar, who apparently shows up at some point, tries to convince Juliet to run away, but she refuses and kills herself with a dagger. Just then, literally everyone shows up at the tomb, and at the same time, and finds the dead lovers. Friar Lawrence confesses everything